So first off, I want to congratulate Precious and the entire IgniteVA team on their 3 years anniversary on building a great community, especially in the virtual space. So congratulations to you guys. And thank you everyone that took our time to join us today. I really, really appreciate. So moving on, my name is Hauwa Daudu. I am a virtual assistant and I am an operations strategist. I help teams and busy professionals streamline operations that improve efficiency and support growth that scale. So today we are going to be talking about, sorry, let me just share my screen. Yeah, so today we are going to talk about something that I believe separates overwhelmed virtual assistants from the thriving ones, and that is building operational systems that scale. So without wasting time, let's get right into it. So before we talk about scaling operations, let's first answer, a simple question. Because sometimes we hear the word operations, we hear words like systems, processes, and sometimes they sound complicated. In fact, most people think it's about using complex tools or building or doing automation and all that, but really it's not as complex as we think. This is an image that portrays an image of two virtual assistants, with equal skills, same tasks, but we can see that the outcomes are different. I don't know, can anybody spot the difference here?
Yes, I can.
Please
Yes, I
go on.
can.
Yeah, please go on.
Okay, so the first image, there are a lot of sticky notes, meaning that there are a lot of like open tabs. It's like very disorganized.
Exactly.
Yeah, but in the second image is like more organized, more focused. And the first image, the lady looks very confused. She looks so bothered and
And
unsettled.
overwhelmed. Yeah,
Yes, while in the second frame, the lady actually looks happy, doing her job and all that.
exactly. Even her workspace, her environment looks calm. So what this picture is trying to tell us that this first image, what we can see tasks scattered around, just like Google said. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. So for the second one, we can also see that everything is organized, deadlines are tracked, and the difference here now, we will not say the difference here is talent, because like I said, these virtual assistants, they are equally skilled. They carry out the same task. They have the same skills, same task. So the difference here is operations. And that is where operational system comes in. Now, before we go into the whole topic of building operational systems that scale, I want us to first understand what operation and system means. When we say operation simply means how work gets done. We are talking about the structure that organizes how your work flows. So operation answers questions like where do you track your tasks? How do you communicate with your clients? How do I manage deadlines and all that? So these are tasks that you carry out every day. These are what we call operations. And when we say system is how your work is organized. So a system is a decision you have already made in advance. Okay, it has to be intentional, and it answers question before the question even gets asked. Okay, so questions such as take for example, as a virtual assistant, how do you communicate with your clients? How do you track what is due? What happens when you onboard, let's say you onboard a new client, okay? What does your week look like? So all these are systems. How is your work organized? it answers questions like your client's communication, and I spoke about also what happens when you onboard clients, what does your week look like by default. So when you have systems, like I said, you are not making those decisions under pressure, okay? You already have them laid out. You have already decided, so you just execute. Okay, take for example this way. Let me give you an example. Let's say we have like a restaurant, yeah? A restaurant that makes burger, okay? They don't figure out how to cook burger every time a customer walks in and order for one, okay? Because they already have processes. And by process, I mean they have the right recipe laid out. They have, and I would like to call that recipe like a system. They have a station. And that's how they can serve over 200 or 300 people in a day and still maintain the quality of that burger. So this is what a system actually looks like. Okay. And as a virtual assistant offering services, you are also running a business. So you deserve that same clarity in your business. Okay. So, and here's the beautiful thing about operational system. They don't just make your work easier. One thing I love about operational system is they also make you look more professional to your clients. Okay, they make a client trust you. They make you reliable to your clients, and they make it possible to make to take on more work without burning out. So systems are how you scale as a virtual assistant. And building operational system means, just like I listed here, creating structure in your work. Exactly. Laying out the systems that are repeatable, organizing how tasks are handled. You're not just reacting to tasks. You already have your tasks laid out, just like the picture I showed of the virtual assistant that had everything organized. You are making your workflow clear and repeatable. So now, moving on to building operational system that scale. So building operational system that scale simply involves creating structure around your work in a way that allows you to grow. How do we actually build operational system that scale? So for the first operational system every virtual assistant needs is communication structure. Because the number one place where chaos begins is communication. And
Oh
in a
shit.
remote work, sorry, you said?
No, sorry. I wasn't referring. I was.
All right, good. So in a remote work, especially in a remote environment as a virtual assistant, communication is like your biggest flex, is your biggest asset and kind of like your proof of work. Okay. So as a virtual assistant, you have to make your presence felt through how you communicate with your clients. And you must always be most of the times you must always be the one to initiate. Like never make your clients chase you on communication, especially when it has to do with communication on your tasks. You have to be clear, you have to be timely, you have to be specific. And when I say communication, I'm not saying you should speak big grammar or speak jargons, just be clear. Okay, agree on a primary communication channel. This is the first scenario here. And I like to say this all the time. This should be part of your onboarding process. You have to discuss with your client what is the primary channel, their most preferred primary channel they will want to be communicated on. I think I made this mistake earlier on in my career as a virtual assistant. I once had a client who we never talked about our main channel of communication. And then this client kept reaching out to me on WhatsApp, and I'm not one to always be online on WhatsApp. In fact, you can easily get me on LinkedIn compared to WhatsApp. So I think there was a lag in communication in that aspect. Yeah, so it can be very, very overwhelming. And then set response expectations. Okay. When I say response expectations, tell your clients upfront that these are the times you would be available to communicate. These are the times you'll be available to respond to a certain whatever it is you need to communicate on. Because some of us have multiple clients we are dealing with. So you have to set expectations from the onset. These are the times I'll be available. These are the times I'll be able to reach out to you or respond to a particular email or a particular message, okay? And like I said on the onset, provide updates regularly. Do not allow your client to babysit you or to chase after you on communication. Be clear. Build trust through clarity. Your communication should always be clear, okay? At a glance, I should know what you're saying. I should not be reaching back to you and be like, Joy, what's this about? Or Blossom, what's this about? Your communication should be clear. It should have everything. It should be specific. So the second one, operational system, is task and project management. Okay, I want to say something real quick on this. When we say project management, especially the project management tools, okay, you are not only permissible to use project management tools when your client uses it. As a virtual assistant, you need a project management tool. Even as a beginner, you need a project management tool. Yeah, you absolutely do not need to wait for your client to use a PM tool before you start using one as a VA. In fact, initiating the use of a PM tool, like to your clients, I see it as a proactive step. And your clients can be like, wow, this person knows the onion. This person, wow, that's a good idea. Assistant. You are not just there to follow structure, okay? You are also there to bring structure. So you should have a project management tool, okay? And by project management tool, we have variety of them. We have Trello, we have Asana, we have ClickUp. I'm a ClickUp girl. I love ClickUp so much. So, and these tools, they help you enhance timely delivery, okay? They help you set deadlines, they help you set priorities. You can view your project at a glance. Your project are not your tasks. Okay, let me say tasks. Your tasks are not scattered around, they are not scrambled around. You can just open up Trello, you can just open up ClickUp, you see your at a glance, you know what is done, you know what you need to do, and all that. Please, can you guys hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you so much. So that's it for tax and project management. And I will also say this: don't try to keep tax, especially tax, no matter how little they are. Don't try to keep them in your head. The moment a tax lives in your head alone, that tax is already at risk. Okay, always put them down. Immediately you are receiving a tax, you put them down on your tool. Like, okay, this is what I need to do, no matter how little. Because the moment you say, okay, later I'm going to put this down, okay, maybe Joy's client sent her, okay, respond to this email or book this meeting, and you be like, okay, I've been doing it before now. Let me just later up. Honestly, you will forget it. So your project management tool I would like to say, it should serve as just as you flip on your mobile phone. Just put it there, and then later you can track your tasks. There is nothing you would miss once you get conversant with your project management tool and you start putting your tasks in a hierarchy format. So the next core operational system is scheduling and boundaries.
Okay, I believe that will be it for our session. So can we, by our emojis and in the chat box, can we just show our support and appreciation for Hauwa?